I have to commend President Abbas. He has been somebody who has consistently renounced violence, has consistently sought a diplomatic and peaceful solution that allows for two states side by side in peace and security.
There he is, the spokesman for the Palestinian Authority, Barack Obama. Welcome back, folks. Joining us now is our friend Joel Rosenberg, a best-selling author. You know him, you love him, and he has a brand new one out, and it's called The Auschwitz Escape. Here it is. I'm holding it in my hands, and it's a novel, but it's based, of course, on historical fact, and it's as they all are, Joel, just riveting, and congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it very much.
All right, first, before we get to the book, and I want you to weigh in on the travesty. I mean, leading up to these talks yesterday between Abbas and Obama, John Kerry gave the Palestinians cover once again last week, testifying before Congress and saying, hey, enough with this Jewish state thing. I mean, hey, Yasser Arafat said he recognized Israel as a Jewish state in '88, so, you know, that shouldn't prevent peace from happening. And then Obama sits there and says this man has renounced violence, when we all know he lays wreaths at the graves of Jew killers. I mean, it's a circus.
We are living in an age, Steve, where people who either do not understand the need to defend our friends and our allies like Israel, or who actively want to work against them, seem to have free reign. And you certainly have a president and an administration that either doesn't get it or willfully doesn't care. And different people have different views, but the bottom line is Israel is facing not just a challenge for the Palestinians. I mean, I want there to be peace. You want there to be peace. The big issue is not right now spending all this time trying to get Mahmoud Abbas, who doesn't want to make peace, to do it. The big issue is Iran building nuclear warheads and threatening a second Holocaust against Israel. And yet, on that front, the President of the United States has engaged with Iran, negotiated with them, and actually reduced sanctions while not requiring Iran to dismantle a single uranium centrifuge, which means Iran steadily moves step by step towards the bomb, which is why I say that this new novel, The Auschwitz Escape, yeah, it's fiction and it's history, but the themes in it are very much the themes that we're talking about today, and not just a threat to the Jewish people in Israel, but to the United States and our allies in Europe.
No, absolutely. And one more before we get to the book, and that is that just the other week, Israel stopped a ship bound for Gaza from Iran with all kinds of sophisticated rockets that could have hit Israeli cities and done huge damage. Now, Obama has said not boo about it. Kerry has said not boo about it. Yet they keep saying, hey, Israel, don't kill Iranian scientists anymore. And Iran, what could we do for you? While they're going the back door here, got caught, and there's no repercussions for Iran.
This is a double standard, and I think the American people deeply resent it and disagree with it. What's interesting is the huge divide between President Obama and Congress. You know, Congress is not bipartisan on almost any issue right now, but there is strong bipartisan support to stand with Israel, to support Israeli security as well as American security vis-a-vis Iran, but also to pressure the Palestinian leadership to recognize Israel as a Jewish state. Because if you don't recognize it as a Jewish state, then it's just any old state, and then millions of Palestinians will feel the right to come back and live there, as opposed to in the Palestinian state, which is the whole point of creating a state, if that's where we go. This is the
two-state solution to them are two Palestinian states.
That unfortunately, that has historically been true. And the fact that Yasser Arafat did, in fact, sort of endorse or support a Jewish state back in the late 1980s and even in the early 90s, should mean that his deputy, Mahmoud Abbas, should be able to do it also. The fact that he can't, the fact that he won't, that he's so resistant, it tells us a lot about his real desire for peace or not. He doesn't really want it.
Well, I'm worried that this is a setup, and one day he'll say, okay, it's a Jewish state, and then everybody say, oh, now Netanyahu's got to go back to the 67 borders, he's got to give him Jerusalem, he's got to give him this, he's got to give him that, and it's going to be a meaningless declaration because like Arafat, you sign an agreement, and then when it behooves you, you break the agreement. I mean, Arafat has said that publicly in Arabic. So, I just worry about this whole thing being a setup. But talk about the parallels to today's issues that you present in the Auschwitz Escape.
Well, let's look at one example in terms of a parallel. You've got a situation where 76 years ago this week, Adolf Hitler did the Anschluss, the annexation of Austria. He sent in military forces into Austria. Then he orchestrated a referendum of the Austrian people to make it look like they really wanted him to be there. And 99% of Austrians said, oh, yeah, we want Hitler to be our dictator.
Can you say Putin?
Yeah, now we've got Vladimir Putin, 76 years ago to the week, has now done the exact same thing, but this time in southern Ukraine, in Crimea. He got 97%, not 99%, but the point is the same. And in this novel, The Auschwitz Escape, I take you inside the life of a young Jewish man, 17 years old. His family's nearly completely wiped out in Kristallnacht, but he's then captured and taken to Auschwitz. And he doesn't even realize exactly what Auschwitz is, a death camp run by the Nazis, not a labor camp, but an extermination camp. I also take you into the story of a young French pastor from a real town called Le Chambon, where they were protecting Jewish people, all the pastors and Christians in that town.
And their lives intertwined.
Exactly. He gets arrested. And then the question is, how do they get out? And how they got out, I based on real stories of real men who did get out in April and May of 1944. How they did it, why they did it, what happened. It's an amazing story, and I weave that into the novel. And then on my blog over the next few days and weeks, I'll start to unpack what the real story behind the Auschwitz Escape really is. But these were heroes who escaped not just to save their own lives, but to tell the world what was really happening and to call on the Allies to do the right thing and liberate these people.
And, of course, the book is out today. Joel, there's no stronger supporter of the State of Israel than you and me, I'd like to think.
Thank you. I agree with you.
Okay, so how worried should you and I be? I mean, I've just never seen anything like this. I've never seen an administration threatening an intifada on behalf of the Palestinians, threatening economic and world isolation on behalf of the Palestinians, saying, hey, we forget the Jewish state thing. That doesn't have to be in there. I've never seen anything like this. And then a man who was probably involved in the Munich massacre, according to many, being praised as a man of peace by the President of the United States. I've just never seen anything like this.
Well, you and I have not seen it because we're fairly young, but it's happened before in history, and unfortunately we are getting to a very dangerous moment. A dictator rising in Russia, a nuclear regime emerging in Iran. The good news is that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob promises in the Bible never to leave us or forsake us. Now, he's allowed some really bad things to happen to us, but when you look back at history, Steve, there should be none of us. There should be no Jewish people based on all the Hamans and Hitlers and Khameneis that have been in the world. But God has always said, I won't let the Jewish people be destroyed. I will always redeem and rescue you. And he's always done it. And I think we need to go back to the scriptures like the story of Purim that we just celebrated this weekend, where a Persian dictator wanted to annihilate the Jewish people, but God intervened. And so that's where the hope is, because humanly speaking, right now, Steve,
not a lot of hope.
It's dark, and it's getting darker.
Well, Joel, again, I love your books. I look forward to them. After you write one and I finish it, I look forward to the next one, and the Auschwitz Escape, possibly your best of all. I hate to say that because they're all so great, but it's fascinating. It's a page-turner, as they say, and everyone should read it. And thank you for your time, my friend, as always.
It's an honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Joel Rosenberg, ladies and gentlemen, the Auschwitz Escape. Very, very apropos for this moment in history. And as he states, we're in trouble. And people of faith who believe in Israel and Jewish and non-Jewish have to put their faith in God for the protection of Israel, because it ain't happening here in the United States with our leadership. All right, folks, we'll come back. Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.
The Steve Malzberg Show.